It's the home of the Mets, obviously, SNY. We also are the home of UConn. Great ancillary programming for the Jets, the New York Jets. And we have a sports show that services the whole region, the tri-state region, as far as all the sports that are concerned for the area. So we do a nightly news show called Geico Sports Night, and then we're covering everything else under the sun. That's basically the gist of SNY right now, but bread and butter is the Mets, and their fans, and that's what we do. The 51st Street studio, which is where we were Midtown before, we grew out of pretty quickly. I think they grew out of it probably by year 3, but they just had to stay in one place for a little while, and then they worked their way up to this, and it was an amazing venture, and it's been great. The design group was an old design group that I had used at ESPN to launch Studio X Sports Center. So they came here, they pitched, and we loved them the most, and they did a great job with it. The reason we used robotics was the big word, efficiency, the big E word. We needed to man 2 studios, all in basically a prime time window, if you will, if at 5 p.m. all the way into midnight. That's our basically viewership area on a regular basis. And we needed to do that as efficiently as possible. We wouldn't have been able to do that with the 2 studios that we have if we didn't do robotics. Right now, what's manned in here is a jib camera and shortly a Steadicam. Everything else is robotic. So it's come in very handy for us in that sense.
So once we decided to go with Ross and install the CamBot and the Furio camera systems, it's been a pretty easy process. We have in total 6 of the CamBot 700s, and then we have another CamBot 600 which has full robotics for the pan, tilt, and ped, but 3 of the 700 full robots are in one studio. In another studio we have another 3. And the reason we went with the 4th camera, so to speak, or the 7th camera, depending on how you're looking at it, that camera is easy for us to move between the 2 studios. And then we also have a Furio SE, and that's been pretty amazing. That's set up in our 3rd studio. It's the one on the track, and we use it for promotions and as a cut-in studio, and the moves are beautiful.
We wouldn't have been able to get off the ground with the personnel we have without doing it this way with robotics. The fact that we have Furio in Studio 42, I can do a promo in there while I'm doing a show out of another studio, unmanned. One person does it all. Same thing with going between Studio 41 and 31, all robotic for the most part. Camera shots are set. I'm very happy with that when I can go from one studio to another, call it up with one person, and we're good to go. Breaking news scenarios got a little bit easier because I don't have a guy running back and around. We don't have that kind of staffing during the morning. So if there's a breaking news scenario in the morning, I've got 1 or 2 people to do all my technical work. So that really frees up a few hands when we have the robotic systems in place.
We haven't been getting a lot of feedback or intensive questions from the operators because I think that the product itself is intuitive, and they've been having a fairly easy time using it and getting the shots that they like. It speaks for Ross and for the product itself that it's pretty easy to use. Ross has been pretty receptive to any questions that we've had, and we've gotten pretty much everything we've wanted resolved fairly quickly, which is nice.
The one thing I really look forward to is augmented reality in that studio. We don't have a place for it anywhere else right now, but when we go into 42, I can see the potential of augmented reality behind that beautiful cityscape that we have. I think it's the perfect space for it. You could take it a step further down the line, green screen the room, and you could do a whole little studio insert in there. That's virtual reality. From a technology standpoint, we made the right investment.